Welcome to Play Misty for You. This is what is happening. What is happening? This is the fourth time I've recorded this episode. Why? Because whatever grounding or organic thing that happened in the beginning, it's episode 3, and that's all gone. I immediately went cheese ball, and then I went like preachy. Then I went like very teacher. I did not graduate high school. Where I have the balls to come off and be preacher. I don't know. Doing my theme is love. Let others voluntarily evolve. And I realized I was doing it all about this is the way you should treat people in this way. And it's like, who the fuck am I? Who am I? I can share my experience here, but acting like I have any grounds to stand on for anything. So we'll see how this goes. Tonight, I went to my writing group and we had a new person, and I start to get so heated about there's not going to be enough time for me. And this is only child syndrome. This is adult child stuff. Like, as much as I was cognizant to not display on the outside what was happening on the inside of me, it wouldn't work. I was wanting to tell everybody to be quiet. I was wanting to speed things up. Just me first. There was a book I read my son when he was young, and it was this book about this pig that would always had to be first in line. And me first, and going to get on the bus and like going on a field trip and pushing the other pigs out of the way to get on the bus. And I'm like, I love this pig. I love this book. Let's read that book again. I thought we were shining a spotlight on this pig and its, strong ways. I didn't realize it was like a cautionary tale, literally like a squiggly cautionary tale. So yeah, I was embarrassed to see that I have not mastered emotional maturity on day 3 of my podcast. I'm sorry to tell it to you, but it's the truth. Let others voluntarily evolve. The reason I like this is because I'm a fan of I don't know what's best for other people. And I would never want to put somebody on a path that they weren't going to excel. Well, that just means I think I have a lot of power. I don't know. Let's really think. Let's give a story to illustrate this. We're going to use Ginger. And Ginger would call me and say, this guy that I'm seeing wants me to bring over a bag of potato chips and dip because he's having friends over. And I'd say, Ginger, are you invited? And she'd say, no, I don't think it's like that. I think he's just having friends over. Mind you, didn't say the guy's over. It's not like we're having football kind of thing. It was like, I'm having friends over. Can you go to the store and go pick up chips and dip and drop them when I come in? I said, Ginger, that's interesting. Because Ginger was not saying, hey, Misty, what do you think about this? Hey, Misty, do you think I should keep seeing this guy? Because I'd be like, no, you dumb sweetie. But Ginger, no. I let others voluntarily evolve. I love Ginger enough to just support Ginger. Let Ginger find out in her own way. Ginger was calling me from the store, wondering if she should add a pie to his request. Do you think they would like apple or pecan, Ginger? Oh, Ginger. I loving other people enough that I am excited to see them have their own growth, and I can stand by and be supportive. In parenting, they say that you should protect your child from harm, but not protect them from life. And I feel that way about my friends as well. I feel that way. Well, basically just about my friends, that unless they're coming to me specifically and saying, what do you think I should do about this? Let others voluntarily evolve. There have been so many times where thankfully people have let me voluntarily evolve. One of them is early on, I went to meetings, and at the end of the meeting, I would go up to all the people, or they would come up to me, and basically there were all these different places that people would go for dinner. So it's in Dallas. Some people are going to Snuffers. Some people are going to, what's that cheeseburger place that was down the street? Like, everyone had a different place. And I would tell everyone, oh yeah, because are you going to Snuffers? Yes, I will see you there. Are you going to the cheeseburger place? Yes, I'll see you there. Are you going to El Phoenix? Yes, I will see you there. I would just tell everybody, yeah, I'm going to be there. I'll be there. And then I would go get in my car and decide, which people are going to which, who do I, and I'd go to the place I want to go. This all sounds sane to me, actually. But I had two friends. It was a couple that I was really good friends with. And they, after a meeting, said they wanted to talk to me. And they said how selfish it was of me to just tell everybody I was going and not show up. And you know what? They were right. They were 100% right. And they did not let me voluntarily evolve. That's not a great story for this topic. They came and they insisted that I do something different. And I was like, you know what? That's a great idea. Thank you for not letting me voluntarily evolve and for interrupting the course that I was going down. Not that I was never selfish again. Nope. Okay, so what's another time that's a better example where people let me voluntarily evolve because I had blinders on to a circumstance in my life? Have I grown at all? Have I learned anything? Okay, I got one. Being late to work. So I mentioned before that I thought being on time to work was uncool, and I didn't want to be all uncool. So I had consequences of that action, and I prayed about it. And when I say pray, I just mean I talk to my higher power. And for me, that's just, what is a higher power? It's energy. It's something bigger than me. All right. We don't have time to go down all that. Do your own homework. Judge me. Don't judge me. Whatever. I'm saying prayer. I'm not talking about going to church every Sunday. Okay. And if that's your deal, great. One of the things that bugs me the most in podcasts is when the person hosting it tries to appease every single opinion that they imagine is listening to their podcast. First of all, I have about 3 listeners currently. I love you all. I love you. It's growing every day. Don't worry. It's impossible. You're going to offend someone. There's no way to live in this world and voice your experience or opinions and be able to blanket everyone's experience. That's impossible. And I've heard podcasters just go in the weeds with this, where they are like, well, I mean, I guess if you see it that way, and if you can see it that, I mean, they do exactly what I just did, which is, if that's your thing, that's okay. Like, trying to appease everyone. If you want to appease everyone, go be vanilla ice cream. Okay, so where were we? We were at late for work. I turned it over, which for me looks like saying out loud, writing about the fact that I want to show up differently, and then letting go of my attachment to the result, putting it out there, and then not consciously thinking about it. Just anytime it comes up, go, I thank my higher power for already taking care of that. So I want to say like 5 years down the road, I was waiting tables again. Everyone should wait tables. And this girl that I worked with said, you're so annoying. I said, why? She said, it's a Sunday morning. You come in, you're smiling, you're happy, you're always on time. Stop right there. I'm what? I'm always on time? You don't say. When did that happen? When did it change? I don't know. But I prayed, I turned it over, and at some point in time, I became one of those people that likes to be on time. Woman called me today and is going through the pains of growing up in public, dealing with family members that are basket cases, dealing with the pressures of a 9 to 5 and increasing high prices everywhere we go. And they are calling me because none of their past solutions are working, which I could really understand. Because I remember that time in my sobriety where I could call my sponsor and I'd feel better. I could go to a meeting and I'd feel better. I could reach out to someone who was new and I would feel like, or I could do all of those things and I would feel better. And then there came a time where I could do all the sober quick fixes and I still didn't feel better. And it's because higher power trusted me that I could handle being uncomfortable. I had a woman I was working with who said, sometimes sobriety feels like a series of uncomfortable events. And that I was like, well, that is because sobriety is a series of uncomfortable events. And so this woman that called me today, having all this stuff, as much as I would on some level, Lane, love to take everything I've learned in my 32 years. Okay. So as much as I would love to take all the stuff I've learned and all the lessons, give them to her so she can feel comfort in that moment that it will work out and that she will be okay and that this is scary, but she can get through it. That would not be a loving thing to do for her because I can't pass along these years of experience. I've had to walk through uncomfortable moments and make a choice as to whether I'm going to abandon myself or I'm going to stay here and be uncomfortable. And they say that a feeling lasts for 90 seconds. So if you can just get through 90 seconds and let it pass through your body and sit there, it will go. Otherwise, I'm storing it. Yeah, that gets too deep for me at this moment. So it's definitely been 15 minutes. And I think this one feels more grounded. And if it doesn't, well, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. This is something I'm doing for me, not for anyone else. And I like talking. I really like talking. And I'm listening to my podcast. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So if I'm the only download, I'm still doing this because it isn't for anyone, but Play Misty for you is really Play Misty for me. Our sponsor today is Otis Inc. LA.com. Use code Misty today. That is Misty, the number 2, DAY, in order to upgrade your order from ground to 2-day air shipping. That is a big bonus. Thank you, Otis Inc. LA.com. Also, please send me emails, pmfy@mistymcphee.com. P as in Mary, F as in Frank, Y, you know it, at Misty, MISTY, MCAFEE.com. Thank you for joining me today. See you tomorrow.